Lily, a bright-eyed 8-year-old with tousled brown hair and an infectious smile, stood at the kitchen counter, eagerly assembling her lunch for school. The rich scent of peanut butter wafted through the air as she spread it generously on 2 slices of bread, followed by a thick layer of grape jelly. This was her favorite sandwich, a simple delight that she looked forward to every day. "Don't forget to pack some extra snacks, sweetie," her mother Sarah reminded from the other side of the kitchen, where she was organizing a stack of papers. Sarah had always emphasized the importance of kindness and compassion, values she hoped to instill in her daughter. Lily's eyes sparkled with excitement as she dropped a couple of cookies into her lunchbox, imagining the sweet treats she would share with her friends. "Mom, can I share my snack with someone at school today?" Lily asked, her voice laced with curiosity. "Of course, honey. Remember, kindness can make a big difference in someone's day," Sarah replied, glancing at her daughter with a warm smile. "You never know who might need a little cheer." Lily nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. Perhaps her friend Emily would enjoy a cookie, or maybe someone who looked a bit down could use a little boost. Little did she know, her act of kindness would take a much different turn that day. Later, at school, the lunch bell rang, echoing through the hallways. Excited chatter filled the cafeteria as children rushed to their tables. Lily sat with her friends, but her eyes wandered to the windows that overlooked the school gate. As she chewed on her sandwich, she noticed a figure sitting on the ground just outside, a man with tangled hair and worn clothes. His face was weathered, and he appeared to be lost in thought, staring at the ground. Intrigued, Lily felt a twinge of empathy tugging at her heartstrings. "Who's that?" she asked her friend Mia, pointing toward the gate. Mia shrugged, her mouth full of pizza. "I think he's homeless. I've seen him before." Lily chewed her sandwich slowly, contemplating the man's situation. She remembered her mother's words about kindness and sharing. A sudden determination filled her. She decided to save half of her peanut butter and jelly sandwich for him. "Hey, I'm going to take this outside," Lily announced to her friends, her heart racing with excitement and nerves. "What? Why?" Mia questioned, raising an eyebrow. I want to share," Lily replied, not entirely understanding her own motivations but feeling a strong pull to reach out. Gathering her courage, she made her way to the school gate after finishing her lunch. The man looked up as she approached, surprise flickering across his face. "Excuse me, sir," Lily said, her voice small but steady. "I have some food for you." Jack, the man sitting outside the gate, blinked in disbelief. No one had spoken to him in days, let alone offered him food. You want to share your sandwich with me?" he asked, his voice gravelly yet tinged with warmth. "Yes, I saved half of it just for you," Lily replied, holding out the sandwich with both hands. Jack hesitated for a moment, then accepted the offering, his heart swelling with gratitude. "Thank you, little one. This means more to me than you know." Lily watched him take a bite, her heart racing with a mix of excitement and concern. "What's your name?" she asked, curiosity getting the better of her. "I'm Jack," he replied, his eyes meeting hers, filled with a depth of emotion. "I used to be a teacher. Before life got complicated." Lily's eyes widened in surprise. "A teacher? Like at a school?" Jack nodded slowly, a distant look in his eyes as memories washed over him. "Yes, I loved teaching. I taught history and science. But sometimes, things don't go as planned. Life can throw some tough challenges our way." Lily, inspired by his story, felt a strong connection to Jack. "I love learning about history. Maybe you can teach me some things." Jack smiled, touched by her enthusiasm. "I'd like that very much." As they continued to talk, Lily felt a sense of purpose blooming within her. She promised Jack she would come back, her heart filled with the warmth of their unexpected connection. Little did she know, this small act of kindness would set off a chain of events that would change both their lives forever. The sun rose gently over the small town, casting a soft glow on the streets as Lily made her way to the school gate once more. Clutching a paper bag filled with sandwiches, fruit, and a few cookies, she felt a familiar mix of excitement and nervousness bubbling within her. Today would be different. Today, she would return to Jack, the homeless man whose story had touched her heart. As she approached the gate, her eyes scanned the area, searching for the familiar figure. There he was, sitting on a wooden bench, his hair slightly disheveled but a hint of a smile playing on his lips as he caught sight of her. "Lily," he called out, his voice warm and inviting. "You're back. I brought you some food." Lily exclaimed, her face lighting up with joy. She reached into her bag and pulled out a sandwich, carefully wrapping it in a napkin. "It's peanut butter and jelly, just like mine." Jack chuckled, his eyes glistening with gratitude. "You know, I used to make those for my students every Friday. They loved them." He took the sandwich from her hands, their fingers brushing briefly. "Thank you, Lily. It's not just the food. It's the kindness that makes it special." Lily sat down beside him, her legs swinging back and forth. "What did you teach, Jack?" "I taught history," he replied, a hint of nostalgia in his voice. "I loved sharing stories about the past. History is full of incredible tales of bravery and resilience." He paused, looking at Lily with a twinkle in his eye. "Do you like history?" "I love stories," she said enthusiastically. "Can you tell me one?" Jack smiled, leaning back on the bench. "All right, let me tell you about a man named Abraham Lincoln. He faced incredible challenges, but he never gave up on his dream of unity and freedom for all. He believed in kindness and compassion, even when it was hard." As Jack spoke, Lily listened intently, captivated by his words. She could see the passion in his eyes as he recounted events from the past, painting vivid images with his descriptions. "So, he really wanted everyone to be treated equally?" she asked, her innocent curiosity shining through. "Exactly," Jack said, nodding. He believed that everyone, regardless of their background, deserved respect and a chance to succeed. "Just like you're showing respect to me by sharing your lunch." Their conversation flowed effortlessly, and for the first time, Lily saw Jack not just as a homeless man but as a friend, someone with a wealth of knowledge and experiences to share. "What else did you teach?" she asked eagerly. Jack chuckled softly. "Well, I also loved teaching science. Did you know that the stars we see at night are actually suns, just like our own? Some of them are so far away that their light takes millions of years to reach us." His eyes sparkled with enthusiasm, and Lily felt a surge of admiration for him. "Wow, that's amazing!" Lily exclaimed, her imagination running wild. "I want to learn everything." As the sun began to dip lower in the sky, casting long shadows, Jack's expression shifted slightly. "You know, Lily, you've brought a light into my life that I thought was lost forever. Your kindness gives me hope." Lily's heart swelled at his words. "I'll always come back, Jack. We can be friends, and you can teach me more." With a renewed sense of purpose, Jack started to gather his thoughts on how he could turn his life around. The warmth of their friendship ignited something deep within him. He realized he needed to take steps toward stability, perhaps even finding a way to get back into teaching. "Lily," he said, his voice filled with determination, "I think it's time for me to make some changes. I want to find a job and a place to live again. Your kindness has inspired me." Lily clapped her hands in delight. "That's great, Jack. You can do it. I believe in you." As they sat together, the sun setting behind them, they forged a bond that would transcend their different worlds. Jack felt a spark of hope for the first time in years, while Lily, unaware of the profound impact she was having, simply felt happy to have a friend to share her lunch with. In that moment, a small act of kindness blossomed into something much greater, setting the stage for the journey ahead. The rain poured down in relentless sheets, casting a gray hue over the small town. Lily, undeterred by the dreary weather, clutched her bright yellow umbrella tightly as she made her way to the school gate. She had been thinking about Jack all morning and the impact their friendship had on both of their lives. As she approached the gate, she spotted him, huddled beneath a tattered blanket, his clothes soaked and his face drawn tight with cold. "Jack!" Lily called out, her voice ringing with concern. He looked up, his eyes widening in surprise. "Lily, is that you?" His voice trembled, partly from the chill and partly from disbelief. She was the last person he expected to see on such a miserable day. "Here," she said, kneeling beside him and holding out the umbrella. "You need this more than I do." Jack hesitated, his heart swelling with gratitude. "I can't take that from you," he replied softly, his expression a mix of pride and vulnerability. "Of course you can. I'll be fine," she insisted, her eyes sparkling with determination. "You look freezing. Please just take it." After a moment of hesitation, Jack accepted the umbrella, his hand shaking as he took it from her. Lily smiled brightly, watching as he opened it, creating a small sanctuary from the rain. "Thank you, Lily. You have no idea how much this means to me." "Of course I do. I know you've been feeling down. Can I sit with you?" Lily asked, her voice full of warmth. "Sure," he replied, shifting to make room. "You know, you shouldn't be out here in the rain. You could catch a cold." "I don't mind," Lily assured him. "I'd rather be here with you than sitting inside at school." As they sat together beneath the umbrella, Jack felt a wave of emotion wash over him. The kindness she showed was a light in the darkness he had been navigating. "You remind me of my students, you know? Always full of life and curiosity," he said, his voice thick with nostalgia. "What do you mean?" Lily asked, tilting her head. "I used to teach history. It was my passion. I loved sharing stories about the past, about the people who changed the world," he explained, his eyes gleaming with memories. "But then life happened, and I lost my way." "You can find your way again, Jack," Lily said, her voice firm. "You're still a teacher. You can teach me, and we can learn together." He chuckled softly, the sound almost foreign to him these days. "You're right, Lily. Maybe I can teach you about the great leaders of history or the wonders of science. Let's start with the leaders. Who's your favorite?" she asked eagerly. That's a tough question," Jack mused, his gaze drifting as he considered. "I would say Abraham Lincoln. He believed in equality and freedom, and he fought for what was right, even when it was hard." "Wow, that's really cool. I want to learn about him," Lily exclaimed, her excitement infectious. As they discussed Lincoln's legacy, Jack felt a sense of purpose rekindling within him. Lily's enthusiasm was like a spark that ignited the embers of his passion for teaching. He was reminded of why he had loved his job so much. After a while, Lily's cheerful voice broke through his thoughts. "You know, I think you should go back to teaching. You're really good at it." Jack sighed, the weight of reality crashing down. "It's not that simple, Lily. There are barriers and people who judge me because of my situation. They don't see the person I used to be." "But that's not fair," she protested, her little fists clenching in indignation. "You should get a chance to show them who you are now." Her innocent belief in him struck a chord deep within. "You're right," he admitted, his heart swelling with a mix of hope and fear. "Maybe it's time I took some steps to change my situation." "Absolutely. And I'll help you," she said, her eyes gleaming with determination. Jack's heart warmed at her unwavering support. "Thank you, Lily. You've given me something to believe in again." With the rain continuing to fall, they sat together beneath the umbrella, sharing stories and dreams. For Jack, it was a moment of clarity amidst the storm, and for Lily, it was a lesson in the power of kindness. Together, they faced the rain, but more importantly, they faced the uncertainties of life with renewed hope. Lily sat on the edge of her bed, her heart heavy with the weight of her mother's concerns. The sun streamed through her window, casting a warm glow on the room, but her thoughts were clouded by doubt. Ever since she had started visiting Jack, her mother had been increasingly worried about her safety. Sarah was a caring mother, always protective of her daughter, but Lily couldn't help but feel frustrated. To her, Jack was not just a homeless man. He was her friend, someone who had shared his dreams and stories with her. "Mom, can't you see he's just like us?" Lily pleaded one evening, her small hands clenched in determination. "He taught me so many things. He's kind and smart. Just because he doesn't have a home right now doesn't mean he's dangerous." Sarah sighed, her brow furrowed with concern. "Lily, I understand that you care about him, but you have to be careful. We don't know what he's gone through or how he might react. It's not safe to befriend someone living on the streets." "But he's not dangerous," Lily insisted, her voice rising with frustration. "He's had a hard life, and he just needs a friend. Everyone deserves kindness, Mom. I thought you taught me that." Sarah's expression softened slightly, but the worry in her eyes remained. I did, sweetheart. But kindness doesn't mean putting yourself in a risky situation. Let's just be cautious, okay? Lily nodded, but inside, she felt a storm brewing. The thought of distancing herself from Jack felt wrong. He had been there for her in ways she never expected, sharing his love for history and science. He made her laugh and think, and she missed him even when she was at home. Each day spent apart felt like a small crack growing in their friendship, and she was not sure how to fix it. The next day, as Lily walked to school, her heart sank at the thought of Jack. She had promised him she would come by after her classes, but her mother's words echoed in her mind. What if Mom is right, she wondered, biting her lip. What if I'm putting myself in danger? Lily shook her head, trying to dismiss the thoughts. She had made a promise to Jack, and breaking it felt like a betrayal. After school, with her heart racing, she approached the gate where she usually found him. But today, Jack wasn't there. The spot felt empty and desolate without his familiar figure. She glanced around, hoping to catch a glimpse of him, but he was nowhere to be seen. Maybe he's just running late, Lily whispered to herself, trying to maintain her optimism. But as the minutes ticked by, her anxiety grew. She sat down on the curb, pulling her lunchbox close. I'll wait for him, she decided. I can't just leave him. After what felt like an eternity, Jack finally appeared, looking worn and weary. His clothes were slightly tattered, and there were dark circles under his eyes. When he spotted Lily, a flicker of joy broke through his sadness. Lily, he called out, a smile breaking through his troubled expression. I didn't think you'd come today. I wouldn't miss it, she replied, standing up and rushing to him. Are you okay? You look tired. Jack sighed, running a hand through his unkempt hair. Just had a rough time lately. Lost a job opportunity one was counting on. Her heart sank at his words. I'm so sorry, Jack, but you're so talented. You'll find something else. I believe in you. Thank you, Lily, he said softly, his voice filled with gratitude. It means a lot to hear that, especially from someone like you. You remind me why I keep trying. As they sat together, Lily felt a sense of comfort wash over her. They shared stories about their day, and she tried to lift his spirits with tales of her school adventures. But as the conversation continued, she could sense Jack's struggle. The weight of his disappointment loomed over them, and she felt the urge to reach out, to offer him the encouragement he needed. Jack, she began hesitantly, maybe you should keep looking for jobs. You're so smart and kind. You deserve a chance to teach again. He chuckled softly, though it didn't reach his eyes. I appreciate your faith in me, Lily. But sometimes, it feels like the world has forgotten people like me. Lily frowned, her heart aching for him. But that's not true. You've taught me so much, and I know you can teach others too. Jack looked away, staring at the ground. It's hard to believe that right now, especially when I feel so lost. I know you can do it, she insisted, her voice unwavering. You've overcome so much already. You can't give up. As she spoke, a wave of uncertainty washed over her. She felt torn between her loyalty to Jack and the nagging voice of her mother in her head. Should she keep seeing him? Was it safe? The question swirled in her mind, creating a storm of doubt. Maybe I should go, she whispered, suddenly feeling the weight of her mother's concerns pressing down on her. I don't want you to think I'm abandoning you. But, Lily, Jack interrupted gently, his eyes searching hers. You've been a light in my life when everything felt dark. I don't want you to feel trapped or scared because of me. If you need to take a step back, I'll understand. Tears welled in Lily's eyes, and she shook her head fiercely. I don't want to distance myself. I don't know what to do. Just be honest with yourself, Jack replied softly. You have a good heart, and that's what matters most. But your safety is important too. They sat in silence, the weight of their unspoken feelings hanging between them. Lily loved Jack's kindness and wisdom, but the fear of her mother's warning lingered in her mind like a shadow. She wanted to be strong for Jack, to show him that kindness prevailed, but she also wanted to be safe and make her mother proud. In that moment, the storm inside her raged on, leaving her feeling more confused than ever. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow over the small town. Jack sat on the worn bench outside the school gate, his heart heavy with despair. The absence of Lily felt like a gaping hole in his life. He couldn't shake the nagging thought that perhaps he was nothing more than a burden to her. "Maybe it's better if I just leave town," he murmured to himself, his voice barely above a whisper. The idea of packing up and moving on seemed like a tempting escape from the pain of losing the only connection that had brought light into his days. Just then, a subtle rustle caught his attention, and he glanced up, his heart leaping at the sight of a familiar figure. Lily stood at the edge of the sidewalk, her golden hair catching the last rays of sunlight. But beside her, he noticed someone else. Her mother, Sarah. Jack's stomach twisted in knots. Would she scold Lily for coming to see him? Would she pull her away, insisting that he was nothing but trouble? "Jack!" Lily's voice pierced through his anxious thoughts, bright and full of warmth. She rushed towards him, her small arms outstretched. "I missed you!" Jack felt a rush of relief wash over him as he enveloped her in a gentle embrace. "I missed you too, Lily," he replied, his voice wavering with emotion. "But why did you come back?" "I realize that I don't care what anyone thinks," she declared, her eyes sparkling with determination. "You're my friend, and I want to help you." Sarah approached slowly, her expression a mix of apprehension and curiosity. "Lily, sweetie, maybe we should." "Mom!" Lily interrupted, her voice firm. "You need to hear his story. You need to understand why he matters to me." Jack's heart raced as he caught Sarah's gaze. He could see the internal struggle on her face, the protective instinct battling with the desire to understand her daughter. "Jack, is it true?" she asked finally, her voice softening. "Do you have a story to share?" Taking a deep breath, Jack nodded. "I do, ma'am. I was once a teacher, loved what I did, and believed in the power of education. But life threw me some curveballs. I lost my job, my family, and ended up here." He gestured around him, feeling a wave of vulnerability wash over him. "I never thought I'd end up on the streets." Lily watched her mother's expression change from skepticism to empathy. "What happened to you?" Sarah asked, her tone gentler now. Jack hesitated, memories flooding back. "I was a good teacher, and I loved my students. But when my wife fell ill and our finances crumbled, I couldn't keep it together. I lost hope, and with that hope I lost myself." As he spoke, Lily's hand found Jack's, squeezing it tightly. "You're not lost anymore," she said, her voice unwavering. "You have me." Tears welled in Sarah's eyes as she watched the bond between her daughter and Jack unfold. "I see how much she cares about you," she admitted, her voice trembling. "And that means something. I didn't want her to get hurt." "Kindness sometimes comes with risks," Jack replied softly, "but it's worth it. Lily showed me that." The three of them sat together, the sun sinking lower until the sky turned a brilliant shade of orange. Jack felt a warmth in his chest that he hadn't experienced in years. For the first time in a long time, he felt seen, valued, and understood. "Can you teach me something?" Lily asked, her eyes wide with curiosity. "Like about space or dinosaurs?" Jack chuckled, the sound a mix of joy and disbelief. "Of course. How about we start with the stars? Did you know that they're all different ages?" As Jack began to explain the wonders of the universe to Lily, Sarah listened intently, her heart swelling with a newfound respect for the man who had touched her daughter's life so profoundly. There, under the fading sunlight, they formed an unspoken bond, a testament to the power of kindness, understanding, and the belief that everyone has a story worth sharing. As they sat together, the atmosphere was warm and filled with the soft murmurs of the neighborhood around them. Jack shared stories of his teaching days, his voice tinged with nostalgia. "I used to love watching the spark in my students' eyes when they learned something new," he reminisced, a faint smile appearing on his weathered face. "Every child has the potential to change the world if given the right guidance." Lily listened intently, her wide eyes reflecting admiration. "You should teach again, Jack. You're really good at it," she exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. Just then, a loud whirring noise interrupted their conversation, causing them both to look up into the sky. A helicopter hovered above them, casting a sudden shadow over their small gathering. Jack's heart raced. He instinctively thought it might be a police operation, a reminder of the many times he had faced judgment in the streets. But Lily, her face illuminated with excitement, pointed upward. "Look, Jack! It's so cool!" "Yeah, it's definitely something," Jack replied, trying to hide his unease. "I wonder what they're doing up there." The helicopter descended further, landing on a nearby patch of grass. A news crew emerged, cameras rolling and the reporters bustling around with an air of urgency. Jack squinted at the scene, still unsure about the sudden intrusion. Lily, however, was already on her feet, tugging at Jack's sleeve. "Let's see what's happening." As they moved closer, one of the reporters approached them, microphone in hand. "Excuse me, ma'am," he addressed Lily. "We're doing a feature story on kindness in the community, and we've heard about your wonderful acts of generosity towards this gentleman here." Lily beamed with pride, her cheeks flushing pink. "I just shared my sandwich with him. Jack is my friend." Jack felt a rush of warmth at her words, but also a wave of embarrassment. He had long since learned to weather the scrutiny of the world, but here was a little girl, unafraid and unashamed to share her compassion. The reporter continued, "We want to highlight stories like yours. It's inspiring, and we think it could encourage others to spread kindness too." Before Jack could process what was happening, another crew member approached him, offering a business card. "Jack, we've been following your journey, and we'd like to extend an opportunity to you. A scholarship for a local teaching program. We believe your story and skills could make a real difference in our community." Jack's breath caught in his throat. The idea of teaching again felt like a distant dream, one that he had buried beneath layers of hardship and despair. "Are you serious?" he stammered, his voice barely above a whisper. "Absolutely," the crew member replied earnestly. "We believe you have a lot to offer, and we'd love to help you get back on your feet." Lily jumped up and down, clapping her hands in delight. "See, Jack, I told you. You can be a teacher again." Overwhelmed, Jack's eyes glistened with unshed tears. I don't know what to say," he managed, touched by the sudden turn of events. As the news crew prepared to film a segment, Jack and Lily exchanged glances, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. This was the moment they had both unknowingly been waiting for, a chance for Jack to reclaim his identity and purpose, and for Lily to witness the profound impact of kindness. Some weeks later, at the local school, the atmosphere was electric. Students filled the auditorium, buzzing with anticipation. Jack stood backstage, nervously adjusting his jacket. Lily and her mother, Sarah, sat front and center, their faces filled with pride and support. When Jack stepped up to the podium, the applause thundered in his ears. "Thank you for that warm welcome," he began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "A little girl named Lily reminded me that kindness can change lives, including my own." As he spoke, he looked out into the crowd, his heart swelling with hope. He shared his journey, his struggles and triumphs, and how a simple act of sharing a sandwich had sparked a chain reaction of compassion. When he finished, the audience erupted into applause once more. Lily beamed, her eyes sparkling with joy, while Sarah wiped away a tear of happiness. Jack stepped down from the stage, and Lily rushed to him, throwing her arms around him. "I knew you could do it," she exclaimed, her voice muffled against his shoulder. Jack smiled, feeling a sense of belonging he hadn't felt in years. "I couldn't have done it without you, Lily. You showed me that there's still goodness in this world." As they embraced, Sarah joined them, wrapping her arms around both of them. "I'm proud of you, Jack. You've inspired us all," she said softly. In that moment, surrounded by warmth and support, Jack knew he had not only found a new path but had also built an unbreakable bond with Lily and Sarah. One that would continue to grow and flourish, reminding everyone that kindness is a powerful force that can transform lives.